Hello, hello. Should be good. Hello. There we go. Ooh, and we're spiking. Hello, hello. 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Think we should be good now. Great. Um, Welcome back, everybody. I've been on a little hiatus, a little sabbatical. Um, just been um, traveling. I went to DC for the second time, and it was really fun. It was really fun. I like DC. Maybe I should uh thank you. You said I look handsome. Um I should have I was like second guessing. Like maybe I should have settled in DC instead of Houston. I really like DC. I like DC a lot. I think I'm gonna go one more time this year. So we've been traveling. We have been sick. That's another thing. We have been injured, which is like a whole other story I won't get into. Um and yeah, just a lot of stuff. Um and a lot of stuff has happened. A lot of stuff has happened. So we're gonna catch up on some news, and then just react to like some videos that I've been. I think this time I curated a set of videos that I want to talk about that I've been kind of saving to myself. So we're gonna try that and see how it works. Um, so before that, um, let's kind of go over. Well, I was fixing OBS, so kind of going over. Um, what we had done. So the whole point of this channel is to help people, especially people not code savvy, not tech savvy. Help them like build apps. I am an app developer, so obviously I develop apps. And now with this whole new AI craze, I mean, there's some validity to it. There's some validity to it. Um, with this whole AI craze, like it's even easier for people to just like jump in and build something useful for them. So before my sabbatical, we kind of like did like a couple lectures. We done a bunch of reacts. So we kind of talked about stories of people who don't know anything about coding at all, building something. So we talked about the story of this assistant principal making an app for his house for his daughters, essentially helping him do laundry and like sort through laundry. Um, and then we kind of talked about just like high level because I feel like there's either you just hear stories of just people building stuff or people are just like in the weeds. So we kind of just try to go through and just kind of do a lay of the land. Like, what are the tools that are out there? How are they different? Um, how do you figure out what to build? So some just like high level stuff. Um, and kind of taking a step back from the AI stuff and just thinking about like, okay, what are like the building blocks of building an app? Um, and just I was kind of using a house as an example. Um, so what kind of skill sets do you need? Things do you consider? Went through an example of just like me booking website. That's like been some I have time to pull it all. Now with AI, like I could probably do it in a weekend. We got something going and wasn't there, but we did a little, and then we kind of did like a lot dated. So we're gonna do some news. There's a couple, like one thing that I'm so one thing is this story happened a week ago. So now AI has hit shade. That's the highlight of this story. Which is super funny that now Lovable, which we use to build that booking site, is now buying ad spots on Shade Room. So they talked about this story, which is similar to the other story that we covered. It's this 89-year-old grandpa, that he's abuelo, and they built two apps um, over the weekend, or he used it over the weekend. So I guess some.
Create a password account for me.
Oh, hold on, there you go. So I mean, if you can't figure out how to use these tools, what excuse do you have, right? Um, uh, yeah, I really like stories like this. Shows like it's never too late to start. Yeah, and really anyone. This guy was probably around before speaking apps into. Um, so that's kind of another inspirational story. I like also I'll try to like pepper. It doesn't really talk about like what did he actually build because I mean, just really just an ad, but I mean, still, it, um, so kind of going into something that I'm really excited about. Go.
Claude Design, which basically for Pro and Max users and allows you to do everything that you'd be able
So
to
we're just gonna do that over.
design anything from mobile apps, web apps with the use of the Claude interface. Now, currently, Claude Design
My audio is acting up again. Um, hold on one second. I think I know what it is. Now we go back. We do this, we do that. Okay, so we will do one more take. So this is like I liked his explanation um of this. It's something new to Claude, so we're just gonna take a look and do the same thing we always do. Do a little pause and go. I
What
wonder
did
if
you
this will work. Oh,
Product called Claude Design,
say the other time?
which basically allows us to design
okay.
anything from mobile apps, web apps with the use of the Claude interface. Now, currently, Claude Design is only available for Pro and Max users and allows you to do everything that you'd be able to do using Figma or Canva, including.
So Figma and Canva are like what like a lot of designers use to design apps. A lot of people will come up to me being like, "Hey, my website or my app, it's looking really funky. Maybe it reminds you of like our MySpace pages in the past." And I'm not one of those people that will make your website look beautiful. I'll make it look functional. I'll make sure people won't be able to hack it or what have you. It won't crash. But to make it look pretty, like if you have me build your app, um, it'll be black and white and default font, default pictures. So it's actually really dope that um, Claude Design. So Claude, that as we talked about, I think it would be good to do like a little refresher. Um, Claude is one of these people. So there's like these big companies. So people know like Google, Facebook, but now there's these big AI companies. So OpenAI has ChatGPT, which I think everyone's familiar with. Anthropic is the other big company, and then they have Claude Code. They have like all these tools. And we talked about that one of the skill sets you need is design work. So if you want it to be something easy for people to use and look beautiful, that's a design skill set, which one that I don't have. Um, and and now before Claude was only able to code, but now you could actually design in Claude.
Adjusting text, images, colors, themes, fonts, etc. This is basically Anthropic's version of Google Stitch, but potentially much more powerful because it has access to models like Opus 4.6. Now, to get started, you need to go to claude.ai/design and open up a new project depending on what you're looking to build. The next thing you want to do is describe your idea in the most detail possible, and it's even better if you have examples like links and screenshots of what you want your vision to look like. You can describe things like what screens you wanted to make, the typography, the theme, the colors, and pretty much any other specific. Next, Claude is going to do some reverse solicitation and ask you more specific questions.
It's just like a reverse interview. One of the things that we talked about with when we were actually building the booking website was planning. So before you have Claude or any of these tools write any code, like make sure that it has like the right idea of what you want. So this is like a step before that. Like before we even write any like real code, with your design, like it'll ask you like what font you want to use, what colors do you want to use, like how should the flow through your website or your app should be, before it starts taking time and you spending money because it's like a pay as you go sort of thing. Um, it'll ask you ahead of time, which is great.
About your project. In this example, I asked to create a fitness mobile app that was aesthetic, felt sleek and premium with minimalistic and subtle color accents. This is what it generated for me. I asked it to create some screens from the onboarding and some of the main screens. This is not bad, especially if you're a beginner creating a mobile or a web app. I definitely recommend using Claude Design. So Anthropic just released a new product called Claude Design, which basically allows us to design.
So that's like the really exciting news. And the reason why it's exciting, like there was already other tools that existed, that did this sort of thing, but now it's in one tool. So it's kind of like you might have like a favorite TV show, or you might have like a TV show that you want to use or you want to watch, but you only have a Netflix subscription and it's on HBO. Now that show has come to Netflix, so now you don't need another subscription. So now for like $20, like you kind of get like ChatGPT, you get like the, you get your coding thing, and then now you have this design tool. So let me I actually did use this. Um, I did use this. I'm kind of logging in right now. Um, I should have done this beforehand. Maybe we'll do a demo next time of the design part. I'll try to like think of like a good example because I have to like log in and stuff. Um, Now with $20, you get Claude, which is kind of like ChatGPT. It can't really do any coding or anything like that, but you could ask it like, "Hey, like I want an app. Give me like product requirements. Like tell me." Um, a lot of times I'll like use AI to talk to AI. So if I know I want to build an app, I'll work with Claude Code, be like, "Hey, give me like ask me questions on how to flesh out like my app idea," and then you'll get like a series of requirements and maybe some features, and then um and then uh you can put it into this Claude design part and have it generate designs and have it ask you more questions, and um and then after you get all of that, you have actual designs, and then you could take those designs and put them into Claude Code, and it'll actually like build you a website. And there's like a lot of like we've seen like a lot of videos where people have like super complicated setups where you have to have like 8 different tools. I don't really like that, especially for beginners. I mean, I don't even really like that for myself. I like to stay in like one place, and then you're not worried about, connecting like all these different tools. You just stay in one place, and you could really, it's like about how fast can you get like an idea on paper, like or in code. And it's not really about, um, is this like the best setup ever? Because at the end of the day, if you have a good idea that's like decently executed, people will start using it. You don't have to have like the most optimized setup, especially if you're just starting out and and you're learning a lot very quickly, and like it's like really important not to get overwhelmed. So I even before this came out, I deleted all my other subscriptions to like ChatGPT. I had Cursor, which is like another way to like code up websites and using AI to code up websites and stuff like that. And now I just use Claude because Claude um, has done a bunch of updates to make it better, including this one. There was another one. Um, let me see if we could do this live. Claude um, code no terminal. There was another update, and I should have had this. Um, should have had this queued up. Quad desktop terminal. Um, uh, should have had this. They came out with an update where the big problem with Claude Code for a lot of people is you have to use this thing called terminal, which is like super nerd way of essentially doing stuff in your computer as opposed. This is like before like there was like buttons and type things like that. Um, I'll use Claude Code. I have to log into Claude Code. That's my problem. Uh, so I need um, or maybe we have Google. Um, enables terminal access from desktop. This is the idea. I wonder if there's like if there's a story here. Uh, it's Claude Cowork. No, I don't think it's Claude Code, but you could access all the terminal windows from. Um, uh, I'll circle back to this. Because that's like another. So now we're at a point with $20, you can have your ChatGPT Claude person help you generate ideas. You have the design aspect where you could just literally play around with different texts, especially if you're a creative person and not so much a coding person. Like that will probably be where you spend a lot of time at. And then with this new update, you got to take my word for it. I did see it, but I can't pull it up right now. Um, you don't even have to use this weird terminal thing, which is why I pushed people towards like Lovable and stuff like that. Because it's like so weird and kind of archaic. Now you get this, you could just stay in the desktop app and build your whole app end to end, um, and send it out there for $20 a month. And I'm not sponsored by Cloud Code, but I just think that's like really good. Again, like you could still like start with like Lovable and stuff like that, but it's I think they people at Anthropic, like the people who own Cloud Code, are making it easier and easier for people to use their stuff, which is great. Um, okay, so those were like the big things of news. Actually, there was one other thing. This is not so much. Oh no, lost my cue. I'm in another window. Um, there it is. Um, um, this is something that's also, in general, like something that I'm seeing with AI tools. And I don't know how to make this bigger without full screening it because it will leave. But hopefully people can see this. So someone built essentially a set of tools to let AI do more elaborate UIs where, you could have like whatever this icon is, like go through text. And it just does it all for you. Like this is not anything that you have to know anything about coding. And this is kind of hard. Um, to do like manually. I mean, I'm not a web developer, but this just looks really hard, because you have to measure the size of the text and then move them around, and you could imagine like you have to do like a bunch of math. Um, so this was something that people were, what was this, like in March or something like that, that people were buzzing about. That again, like this is not anything groundbreaking, like this kind of code existed, but now it's like super available for like AIs to use. So like this is just to say that, because a lot of people focus on like the models or like how good Claude is or how good ChatGPT is, when it comes to like giving you answers. But you also have to think about what tools are available to these AIs to actually do stuff. So the more tools that you give them, the more things that they could do, even if they're like, the same horsepower or the same, intelligence or whatever, however you want to call it. And then this reminds me, I was trying to use this paid tool to this AI clipping tool to clip, my streams and put them on social media because I am not a good editor. So I wanted to have something do it for me, even if it was like not the greatest, but it would definitely be better than what I would be doing. But it costs a lot of money. Like it was like, man, I had to pay like 20, $30 and they give you like a budget of how many clips you could edit. I ran through it in one day. And that was not even going through like one stream. And then you have to pay extra if you want to do more. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if I could build it. Because, now we're in that era. And all I did was take Claude and I gave it the tools to edit videos. So there's like the tools to edit videos are like very free. You don't have to pay for them, and it's just code that gets ran. So I downloaded those tools, gave it to Claude, and I asked it to do the same thing that I had this tool do, and it did a pretty good job. based on what I told it. And all I really did was just give it the tools. If it didn't have the tools to edit videos, then it couldn't do that. And then maybe eventually, like how, with the design stuff, they just integrated it into Claude. Hopefully, there's a point where that they will, like, Anthropic, the company, will be like, okay, let's help people like edit videos, and then they just make the videos, integrate it, and bundle it into your $20 subscription, and then you don't have to like figure out how to do it yourself. So this is just to say that like the general trend, it kind of like the analogy that I say is it's kind of like these like AIs first come out, and like you have to like build all the tooling, and you have to do a lot of massaging to get it to do the right thing, or get have you give a good output. But I think that that amount of work to get it to do the right thing is going to go lower and lower. Kind of like, when cars first came out, like they were like manual, and you had to learn how to switch gears and like know how to use a clutch and things like that. And then, automatic cars came out, and then you didn't need to switch gears anymore. And then cars that, you know that auto brake, like if they feel like you're about to get, run into the car in front of you, they'll auto brake. So now you don't even have to think about, I mean, you still should. I'm not This is not me sponsoring people being reckless driving, but there's cars that, like, if they sense that you're gonna hit somebody, they're gonna brake for you. So like, and so all these, so like with cars, like they're giving you more and more kind of features for you to do the right thing. The same thing I feel like is what's going to happen with these models. Not only are these models going to get smarter and smarter, so if you give it the same question or ask it to do the same thing, they're going to think better about it. But also like the tools and the actual problems that you could solve with them are gonna expand more and more. So now Cloud Code can do design. Hopefully they can do like stuff like videos and what have you. So now, like, and then other people are gonna build these tools for you. So like someone just made this tool available that, you could just plug this in. But hopefully, again, like these big companies, I see like they're just gonna see this. Anything that performs well, they're just gonna eat it. Which is what they've been doing. Um, so yeah, so this is really exciting. Other people building stuff, the companies themselves are building stuff to make things easier, so you can worry less on how you are gonna tackle and how you're gonna build like your apps, but you're just more worried about like, okay, what kind of things can I build, or what things do I want to build, or what things do I need to build, as opposed to like figuring out how to do it, because it should be easier and easier. Okay. So I think that's it with news stuff. Sorry, so I'm just gonna, I guess, go through reactions to stuff, like kind of seeing what other people are saying and giving my 2 cents. Um, oh, actually, sort of news, not really news, but um, I think that was like really interesting that I saw people do. That someone else covered. Um,
Agent a $100,000 budget, a corporate credit card.
so let's see.
AI agent a
Wish you could
$100,000
start
budget,
these
a
over.
corporate credit card, and a mission to run a profitable retail store. Andon Labs, which is a YC-backed company, they built an AI agent called Luna on top of Claude and pointed her at one of the hardest real-world tests they could think of. What happened is Luna ended up negotiating the lease, choosing its own interior design, curating all the inventory, posting a job listing on Indeed, conducted interviews, and hired human staff that are now stocking the shelves and greeting customers on a daily basis now. So yes, humans are now now reporting to AI. We're now living in that timeline. And the store is called Andon Market. Like I said, it was a boutique store that now has artisan chocolates and my personal favorite, an AI curated bookshelf. And of course, they have the book The Singularity is Near on the shelves. Now, of course, though, not everything ran smoothly. On opening day, Luna hallucinated and forgot to put the staff on the calendar to be there that morning. So the founders of the company were out there scrambling, opening up the doors themselves. And that's really what they're testing with this experiment, though. What they're trying to learn is what can AI agents do reliably versus what they still can't do yet. This store isn't really about retail. This is really a stress test on long horizon AI tasks. Like, can AI manage goals that take months to complete? Commercial lease, a full supply chain, a team of humans, not just answer a prompt, but actually run something top to bottom. Because that's the frontier this entire AI agentic industry is trying to figure out right now. And Andon Labs, they're running this experiment here in public, which is either really brave or just super SF. Both could be true. Andon Labs is testing the limits of what AI can do, but every company building agentic products will hit some sort of a wall as well. And the founders who instrument those failures, who understand precisely where the models lose the thread, are the same ones who are eventually going to build the products that work at scale. The store was the product, but all the failures that they make along the way, that's the data set. And that's what Frontier actually looks like. And again, if you like this sort of thing, join our community, Frontier. Link in bio. What do you get when you...
So this was really crazy when I saw this. So because it's very, it's relatively easy to say like, hey, ChatGPT, give me some answer like how many states are in the United States, and then it kind of spits out an answer, and maybe it could be silly and give you something weird. But what AIs right now are kind of bad at is like long running tasks, like kind of like with this example, um, uh, having it run a store. So not only do you have to break down that problem of okay, like what do I need to like run a store, and it has to look that up, come up with a plan, but then execute, and then actually calling people and having employees is pretty crazy. And if like the only thing that it messed up on um was like opening day, like making sure the employees were actually there to open, and then the founders had to actually go in there and open. That's um that's still pretty impressive, because again, like if you have Claude and they use Claude, and I guess they added a bunch of stuff around Claude to like help it um manage like these sort of tasks, like you know and maybe break down this problem into like little chunks so it could actually execute on it. I don't know what they did, and I guess that's their secret sauce. But this is like, now AIs are just not in the computer, like they're in real life. So, they're advertising, they're essentially doing like multiple people's jobs just on its own with no direction. You push it once, and then wherever it goes, it goes. So I thought this was like really interesting, semi scary. Um, and we'll see what happens in a few years. Because I think, especially like there is Tesla, and like a lot of this, it's like easy for like AIs to work in like simulation, like like driving or whatever, but in real life it's like really hard. There's like a lot of variables, and this is kind of the same kind of problem but in a different direction, like um I wonder. I actually should see if there's like a follow up. I mean, this was only like a week ago. So I wonder, like after launch, like what do you do when your employee is late? Like, does it manage it? Like, imagine being fired by an AI because you're late to work. Oh man. Uh. So yeah, I thought this story was really cool. Um. Semi scary. Um. Um. Yeah, I think those were all the stories. I know I said that multiple times. Um. I think that's it. I think the rest of them are just reacts. Just so we could just like go through them. Um, I might honestly call it early because your boy is tired. Um, yeah, we might call it early. And then we could do tomorrow. We could do the reacts, and then I could like queue up something in Claude Design, and maybe we could run through it. Maybe give it the same prompt that we did Lovable to see what it comes out with, and then we could compare the two. Yeah, I think I might call it a little bit early, and then yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll do demos. Um, but thank you everyone for coming by. Um, I'm glad to be back. We're gonna be more consistent. I do have to travel next month, so that I will definitely miss that week. But up until then, we're gonna be back on the schedule. So yeah. uh, so yeah, if you liked what you saw and you wanna, I should work on my outros. Uh, Follow, like, subscribe, the whole thing. I'm also trying to be on TikTok, Instagram, um, as well. So give me a like there. I don't know. We'll workshop a catchphrase. They said come up with a catchphrase. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, like the stream, follow. We are live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern. So yeah, I should probably post my schedule somewhere on YouTube. Um, yeah, Alvin Mix apps on all platforms. Facebook as well. That was the other one. I was trying to remember the third one, but I'm on Facebook. Meaning I have an account created, but I haven't posted anything yet because I can't go live there. But yeah, appreciate y'all for coming. I'll see y'all tomorrow.